Republican of Wisconsin, and the man to talk about economic policy from the Republican side. Congressman, welcome to the program. Good to have you with us.
Good morning. Yeah, thanks for having me, Stuart.
Now, I'm saying that there is a split between Europe and America right now. Europe is cutting back, holding off on the spending, cutting the deficits. But we, it seems, in America, President Obama wants us to keep on spending. I mean, the president's not turning to the center, is he?
No, far from it. I never thought I would ever hear myself say this, but I actually agree with the Europeans in this particular case on economics.
Steady on, Congressman, steady on.
I know. It's really strange. And he has, the G20, they're representing that position, which is double down on this neo-Keynesian borrow and spend spree. It's not working. We lost 3.6 million jobs since the last stimulus was passed. They want to do more of this. Bailing out state governments is the next roll of the dice they want to have. And Europe is basically saying, look, we already know we're heading for a ditch. We don't want to go into it faster. My fear is we are copying European economics of the past, and that's going to give us a European kind of a debt crisis in the future if we don't change our policy. Yet the president is doubling down with this policy. Well, it is going to give us a big debt hangover.
The president is indeed doubling down. He wants more spending, but is he going to get it? Because it seems that there's an awful lot of centrist Democrats who are saying, we don't want to go to this election in November on the back of even more spending and even bigger deficits. So I put it to you, it doesn't look to me at least as if the president will get the spending that he wants. What do you say?
The president got those same centrist Democrats to vote for a budget that doubles our debt in 5 years and triples our debt in 10 years. He got those same centrist Democrats to vote for $1.8 trillion in new spending in this session of Congress and $670 billion in new taxes in this Congress. He has always gotten, along with Speaker Pelosi, the votes he has needed to gauge in any spending spree he has wanted. What I think you'll probably see happening is a spending spree maybe not passing before the election, but in a lame duck session. That's what they're beginning to prepare, is a massive omnibus appropriations bill funding all of the government agencies, probably short of the Pentagon. That bill will probably pass separately. And that is where he's probably going to get a spending spree in the lame duck if he can't pass it now, which he is trying to do.
Okay. Congressman Ryan, I've watched you talk to Ben Bernanke and others, and your knowledge above your peers is amazing. Is anyone coming to you from either side of the aisle saying, listen, can you enlighten us a little bit more about what this is really about? Are our leaders trying to learn about economics, or are they just going to continue to vote party line?
Well, I have a background in economics, and I worked in the field of economics in the 90s, so I kind of come from that area. I do talk to a lot of colleagues, Republicans and Democrats. What we have right now is a neo-Keynesian model being pushed, which means spend, 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 and they still have no problem with all these tax increases. So the problem is, what I think you have is an economic doctrine that conveniently fits a political ideology. And so really what you have here is a political agenda that is built upon building government programs, building up spending, and they're conveniently using this one economic doctrine to satisfy their political pent-up demand. So really what I thought stimulus was about was not really about jobs as much as it was spending money on all these programs that they had wanted to spend on for a long time, which they couldn't do until they got Congress and the White House. Now they have the Congress and the White House. The spending spigot is open and they're going forward. And I would argue it's more about that than it is actually about job creation.
Have you formed a committee of any kind? Have you started
we do.
to... hold on.
We do.
Hold on. Have you started to raise money in any way? Because you've only got about 6 months before you pretty much have to declare that you're running for the presidency in 2012. Have you taken any steps?
No.
Yes, sir. Have you not taken any... Are you going to give us a Sherman-esque response?
Yes, I'm giving you a Sherman-esque response. Look, I think I told you this before, Stuart.
Yes, I know.
My head is not that big, and my kids are just too small.
Yeah, but
we in Congress have an economic, Eric Cantor, our whip, has formed an economic growth committee, a jobs committee. So we've put out alternatives. We put out alternative budgets. I put out an alternative budget last year that cut $4.8 trillion out of the spending line and actually got our debt in a payment. We paid off our debt with the Republican budget that passed last year. This year, they're not even doing a budget. There's not even a budget passing. Well, and so we have put out alternatives in all of these big issues, which is keep taxes low, get a grip on spending and entitlements, prevent us from going into a welfare state, which is clearly unsustainable. Turn on the TV and look at Europe. And no, I am not going to run for president.
But that was a campaign statement that you just issued, whether you like it or not, Congressman. And besides, you're the person that everybody tells me knows more about economics than anybody else in Congress. And that's why we always come to you.
It's not a very high bar to to clear. All right. So,
Congressman Paul Ryan, I'm afraid we're out of time, but will you please come back and see us again?
Sure.
I promise never to ask that question again, okay, at least
All
for
right,
the next
thank
6
you.
months. Paul Ryan, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.